Okay, when we got married,
You've been married how long now?
we're married 60 years. And we got married on my folks' wedding anniversary, June 6th. And so they would have been married 80 years if they were living. And we got married in the same church that my folks got married in. And we had the same priest that married us. Actually, it's 3 generations of getting married in that church. My daughter and her husband got married there in that church, but not by the same priest, because he was already dead. But we had a wedding. We had gone, we had our pictures taken in the morning after the Mass. The Mass was at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then at 10, it was more or less over with. We went and had our pictures taken. Then we went over to Victoria, to the hall, and there would be guys standing at the door and with a bottle of whiskey, and you had to have a drink before you could come in.
Who did this apply to?
Everybody.
Everyone who came to your wedding party?
This is the way it always was. I mean, no matter what. If I went to somebody else's
What
wedding.
about, did your parents have to?
Yeah.
Were your grandparents alive?
My grandparents with me? No.
Yeah.
My grandma was.
Oh, did she take a shot of whiskey?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Actually, on the holidays, we went to my grandma's house, my dad's, we would, the guys would pass the whiskey jigger around, and they just all drank out of the same bottle in the same glass. And Grandma would have Mogan David wine for us kids to have. She figured that we needed it. But our wedding, we got married in the morning, and then we had a meal at noon. And all the aunts did help with the cooking, and the uncle set up the hall, cleaned it up, and set it up and everything.
So would this be next door to the Victoria church? Or
No.
Which hall was this?
Well, right now it is actually a mortuary.
Okay.
It was a theater originally, and then they turned it into a hall, dance hall. And when we got married, it was the only air-conditioned hall in Ellis County. And it was hot that day, so we were lucky. There were 13 weddings that day.
Oh my goodness.
But we had that hall, and like I said, the day before, they prepared all the food, and the guys cleaned everything up, and then the cousins would decorate, and and then we'd have the meal at noon, and then we'd have a dance.
What food did you have at your meal?
Fried chicken,
Okay.
mashed potatoes and gravy, and a vegetable, and rolls, and I don't know if there was roast or not. I don't remember the roast, but anyway, so we'd have a dance, and we'd have like a little wedding march, and then
What was a wedding march?
well, the bride and groom and the attendants would go around. Somebody would play, and they would go around the hall, sort of just march and that, and they would pin money on the bride and the groom. And that,
Like with a safety pin, or? Huh.
Yeah. Somebody'd have a pin, and then they'd just start pinning it on, yeah. And then after that, we had a dance. And then, around...
What'd you do for your dance? Did you have a band, or?
Yeah, we had a band.
What kind of music was it?
They played polkas and waltzes. And then after... then we would end up going, everybody would leave the hall, because all the farmers went home and did their chores, put on their old clothes and did their chores and everything, and then when they were finished, they all got dressed up again, and they came back to the hall, and then we had another meal. And then we had a dance.
Your aunts made all of that?
And then we'd have a dance again. And then about 10 o'clock at night, we would have made sandwiches, a bunch of sandwiches, and then we would go pass them around. There was no tables. People just sat around the side and the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would...
What kind of sandwiches did you make?
It was ground up lunch meat, bologna, and but that's what everybody had.
Did you have more whiskey or just one shot when you came in?
Well, I didn't, but but some of the others, they did. Because there was the whiskey, and then we had the beer.
Who made your cake for you?
I can't even think of her name. She was from Victoria.
But it was somebody in the family or just a friend?
No, it was somebody else.
Did they take pictures of your wedding? Somebody?
Well, no, we didn't have a regular photographer. We went to the studio to have our pictures taken there, but at the wedding we didn't do anything like that. There wasn't anything like that at that time.
What kind of whiskey did you guys have back then? You don't know?
I don't really know. I didn't really drink whiskey, so I don't know.
Did you have any wedding traditions like what we have now with a garter? No. Any other wedding traditions?
No, there wasn't it. It was just a German wedding, and and nowadays nobody could afford that. Feed the people twice. Because we did have probably 200, 300 people, and feeding them twice.
Yeah.
And but it was an all-day thing.
And was that standard for people to have an all-day wedding?
At that time,
So
yes.
where did everyone else, if there were you said 13 other weddings that weekend?
I have no idea where they all went to. There was...
did they have mass somewhere else then? Or did you stagger the masses?
Well, they weren't all Catholics. And they weren't all Catholics yet. But I did know that there were 13 weddings because the photographer told me, because he was taking some of those pictures and that, from different people, because our times were set for we could have them.
Did you get wedding presents?
Oh yeah. And I had a shower beforehand, and it was a grocery shower, and which I think is the greatest thing in the world.
So what would they do?
People they brought different foods, that you can use, canned foods and what have you, spices. We got waste paper baskets full of stuff, and laundry baskets full of detergents and just all that stuff. Flour, I had 50-some pounds of flour.
How long did it take you to go through that?
I didn't go through it all because I gave some to my mom. And then, because now for my folks, we got all the meat, we wanted and everything. So when we went to the grocery store the first time, I think we paid maybe $5 because we had all the spices we needed, we had all the canned food, and that. And I just think really that's better than having all these other kind of showers.
What kind of spices did you have back then?
Well, there was salt and pepper, cinnamon, nutmeg,
Okay.
The basic type stuff. But,
That sounds fun. So you had your shower probably just sometime before the wedding?
yeah, it was like a month before.
Okay. Was that a women-only shower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Did you have a bachelorette party?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, we never had that. No, all this stuff, we never did any of that. Maybe that's why our marriage lasts.